came from a background, I'm working in the financial industry. I have a background in finance and an MBA, and also redeveloped some land in Calgary. And I came here because I wanted to grow food, I wanted to raise my kids here, and there was something different about this island. And then the incorporation process came, the conversation started, and I thought, well, this is a good way for me to understand how things are different, because one of the first things I did when I was here was there was a sign at the end of Hereford Avenue, or a proposal for a sign at the end of Hereford Avenue, and I had bought the building beside Cafe Italia, and I'd heard there was a permit for a sign from MOTI to create this sign. I thought, oh, that's great, I'll get the sign done. And I went to the CRD and they said, yeah, we support that, as long as the Island Trust supports it. And I went to the Trust and they said, that's great, as long as the CRD supports it. I said, okay, so who's gonna say first? And there's no sign at the end of Hereford. So I wanted to understand how the government worked here and what was this. And so over 2.5 years, we went through the process of putting together this report, and now I understand quite well. And I was completely unbiased throughout that process, thinking, yeah, I hear some reasons why incorporation might make sense here, like local control. We're an island. I want my sign at the end of Hereford. And through that process, and when the government came up with their offer of restructure, a couple things were apparent to me. The first was that they never really consulted us on how we wanted to govern ourselves. We edited this report, and they told us exactly what services would be amalgamated and what would come together and what the costs were and how much money they would give us for the roads. And we said, well, the roads, we need to understand the roads. Let's get an independent roads analysis. And so we got that, and there's one fitting graphic in there, and it's like the life cycle of pavement. And roads will last into the future as long as you maintain them and you continue to pave them and seal them when they crack. But then they get to a point where they kind of fall off the cliff, and if you don't maintain your roads, the cost increases exponentially. And then they said that 50% of our roads are kind of at that point of falling off the cliff. And they said it would cost $33 million to bring those roads up today. And then they offered us 15. And as a taxpayer here on a couple properties, I think we'll be fine for a couple of years. We've got a whole bunch of money coming in from them. But as I look forward 5-10 years out, the financial analyst in me looks out and sees this massive tail-ended liability. It's like the province gave us this big old supercomputer from the 1980s and said, it's really nice, guys. It's really good technology here. You've just got to keep it running. And we've maintained it, roughly speaking. You can turn it on, but you got to run the newest operating system on it. And for me, it's like, I don't want to take that supercomputer. If it was a brand new road network, maybe we'd have a different conversation here. And I guess the last thing I'll say is, like, I always say you have to vote against incorporation because I don't want to run for mayor. And the reason is because the system is inherently pro-development. And as has been referenced by my colleagues here, it's like, I know that if I was sitting in that chair of centralized, empowered control and dealing with what most municipalities have, and that's infinite ways to spend money and not enough ways to collect money, that I'm gonna be dealing with the constituents who want all these new services, and I have two tools. I can raise taxes or I can increase development. And so, I don't want to be faced with that because I recognize that I would be pressured into increasing density on this island. And it would be island-wide, not specific to the town of Ganges, but rather we would be looking at densities everywhere.